Hey people, welcome to the Run Testers and to our review of the ASICS Gel Trabuco 13. This is a lower to the ground trail shoe that's built to tackle a wide range of terrain. It has had some important updates from the Trabuco 12, including a bit of weight saving. And we've been out clocking the off-road miles to find out if those changes work. So let's get into it in our ASICS Gel Trabuco 13 review. Quick details then, and the Trabuco 13 packs 34mm on the heel, it's got 26mm on the forefoot for an 8mm drop. It weighs in at 10.2 ounces or 289 grams in my men's UK 8.5 or US 9.5. That is slightly lighter than your average trail shoe of this type, and happily a little bit down from the weight of the Trabuco 12. On price, it's £140 in the UK, or it's going to cost you $140 in the US. Moving on to a quick shoe whip round then, and the Trabuco 13 has a Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco Foam midsole. That is the same as you get in the ASICS Metafuji Trail, also the Trabuco Max 4, there's just less of it. It's also the foam that we used to get in ASICS Roadrunners like the older gen Nova Blasts, but this foam or version of it is tuned for the trails. There's a more pronounced rocker than we got on the Trabuco 12 with changes to the curvature of the heel to make things a little bit more dynamic, particularly if you're landing further back. Now, speaking of heels, you've also got a heel insert here for more cushion and protection. There is a thin rock plate as well to add some protection from the lumps and bumps coming up to this lower stack trailer. Up top, you've got mesh uppers that are nicely breathable. There's good flex in them. There is a gusseted tongue that's trimmed down to save a bit of weight, though it's still nicely padded. The heel collars are really quite plush too, really kind of decent cushioning there. The toe box has some internal reinforcement to protect against the rocks and toe stubs. You've got a rigid heel counter that offers a bit of support. There's some other handy details, like you've got this heel tab here to yank them on and off when they're muddy. There is a lace holder on the top of the laces here to prevent flapping laces and to keep those laces from coming untied. When you flip them over, you've got a really good covering of ASICS grip for the outsole rubber with 3.5mm lugs in a new lug pattern that's been updated from the Trabuco 12 to improve the grip and the traction.
The fit for me in the Gel Trabuco 13, I'm a size 8 in the UK, found this to be a really comfortable shoe. There's plenty of space in it, there's quite a lot of wiggle room around the sides of the forefoot. Quite a nice comfortable lockdown on the midfoot, so it gives you a bit of space. If you've got wider feet, you can loosen it up a bit and it's absolutely fine. Very, very comfortable. Not loads of space before the big toe, but plenty for me. I've done about 40k in this shoe now, and I don't have any issues at any of the runs. I've done a lot of downhills and uphills, and normally the downhills are when you find that the shoe is a little bit too short. Didn't have any problems in this. Felt really, really comfortable. There's quite a big amount of padding on the back of the shoe and around the ankle collar, which makes it a really comfortable shoe to wear when you're just going and just ploughing through the miles. So I definitely stay to my UK size 8 in this shoe.
Fit then, and in testing I ran in a UK 8.5, that's a US 9.5, which is my regular shoe size in ASICS. I found the fit of these shoes to be very good. You've got an accommodating toe box with good clearance lengthwise and across the top of the toes. The extra structure here also helps keep the uppers off your toes, which is good for downhill descents. I also had no issues getting the midfoot security locked in. The big padded heel collars held me well enough and offer a lot of comfort. The tongues have ample padding, so you can really lock the laces down nicely without any lace pinch. All this adds up to good fit comfort, even for longer miles cruising the trails. And in terms of sizing, I would recommend definitely going true to size in these shoes.
So I said in the fit section there that I've done about 40k in this shoe, and that has been largely over the South Downs. So it's a mix of rocky sections, muddy sections, fields, grass, all that sort of thing. It's quite a good test for any trail shoe, and I also have to run down the road to actually get there. So what I found is that it's a really good do-it-all trail shoe. It's very comfortable. It's not too bulky. It's not too heavy. You can definitely pick up the pace in this shoe on the trails. If I was on road, I don't think it would be as fast a shoe, but on the trails you want a bit more padding. You normally have a bit more bulk on a trail shoe because you need more protection, and it does that really, really well. I largely been doing fairly easy runs. I've been marathon training in this shoe up on the downs, and I've just found it to be a really comfortable shoe to wear on all the different terrains that I've been on. It's a good shoe if you're looking for a one trail shoe, and a lot of people do tend to buy just one trail shoe for everything that they're doing, this really fits nicely into that sort of trail shoe, because you can go out, you can have a nice, comfortable, easy run, you can go on harder surfaces, and there's plenty of padding in the midsole to give you a good bit of cushioning and comfort along the way. But when you get onto those tougher sections, it's still pretty good at dealing with more technical trails. So if you're out on the rocky surfaces, if you're out on areas where there's, you're on an incline and it's maybe a bit bumpy, very good for that. The grip's absolutely fine for most surfaces. The only surface it's not great on is wet, muddy surfaces. The lugs just aren't big enough for that, and I found that I was slipping around a little bit when I was in a very muddy section when it was raining a lot a couple of weeks ago. But other than that, that's generally what you get with most of these sort of do-it-all trail shoes. They're not specifically designed for really muddy, boggy areas, but everything else is absolutely fine. If you're doing road to trail, this is a great option as well. You can really hit the road absolutely fine. Plenty of padding in there for really hard road surfaces. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. Even the rubber on the outside isn't really hard, so it's absolutely fine for those harder surfaces, especially in the summer and things like that, when some of the trail surfaces might be really hard and compact. But equally good on the softer surfaces as well. It's not too soft a midsole that you start losing the benefits of what you would get from running out on the fields. What you don't want is a really soft field and then a really soft midsole, because you sort of lose all your energy and it saps it away from you. But I'd be happy to use this for a wide range of runs, including even like trail races and stuff like that, because I don't go all out on trail races. I won't be running as fast as I do on road, but it allows you to pick up the pace nicely, and it's a very comfortable shoe for doing that.
Run test then. In testing, I've racked up around 35 kilometres in the Trabuco 13. It's mainly been on more runnable terrain, nothing particularly steep or tricky or technical. A lot of forest floor, a lot of grassy fields, some compacted mud, the odd bit of gravel, some stony river paths, sort of pebbly kind of stuff. I've done a lot of that at easy or cruising pace while doing marathon training. It's all been in pretty dry conditions, so I have also faced the odd bit of sloppy mud. I've waded through the occasional puddle. I also logged a good section of road commute, which I have to cover in order to get to the trails that I tend to run in Richmond Park mainly. Now, I've also been switching between a few different trail shoes in testing, including the bigger stack, heavier and more cushioned Trabuco Max 4, which we've got a review on the channel if you want to go and check that out. Also, the North Face Effective Enduris 4 for the Salomon Ultra Glide 3 in. Shoes like that, which are a bit bigger, a bit heftier. But I have to say, the Trabuco 13 has really kind of stood out for me as a really solid, versatile trail shoe that has a bit more of a direct ride. It's not super compact, but comparatively it's got a lightness and an agility to it compared to those shoes. And you certainly feel a bit more of the ground coming through from what is a lower stack than some of those other bigger stack trail shoes, not surprisingly. It's all quite direct, but it's not entirely devoid of cushioning either, and I really like that balance. There's enough to take the edge off those road commutes or when you're cruising on the harder, compact surface, but it plays nice when you're hitting softer ground too, thanks to a slightly firmer edge. There's a good agility to it. I'm happy to sort of pick my way through routes and whatnot in this, and I can certainly see it grabbing a place as a utility trail shoe if you're only after one shoe that can cover a lot of the different types of trail that you might encounter. Now, a lot of trail shoes now are deploying bigger, wider stacks, and I like the fact that Trabuco Max remains a little bit more precise. I immediately wanted to run faster in this shoe. It's about the same weight as like a Speedgoat 6, and I felt lighter and more energized, a bit freer underfoot than in shoes like the Enduris 4 or that Trabuco Max 4, for example. And for shorter, faster efforts on more technical terrain, I'd certainly choose it over those shoes. The 3.5mm lugs grip well in the dry conditions that I ran in, nothing particularly steep or slippy or any scree or anything like that. In my first run, it also felt like it'd be too sticky for the road, but over my testing, sort of subsequent test miles, I actually found them okay. I didn't get into any real proper slop, so I can't speak 100% for the grip in really slippy, lots of stretches of mud, but I'd imagine that you might want a bit more grip, a bit more lug depth for conditions like that.
My verdict on the Gel Trabuco 13, I think it's a great all-round trail shoe. I think everyone would be happy with this as a trail shoe. I think you can use it for lots of different things. I think it's very versatile. I think it's very comfortable. If you're doing easy runs, it's fine. If you're going a bit faster, it's fine. If you're racing on harder compact surfaces, you might want something a little bit more performance-based. But for most things, what most trail runners use shoes for, this just sits right in the middle as a sort of do-it-all comfortable trail shoe that's not too heavy. I'm currently testing the Saucony Peregrine, very similar shoe to this. I actually prefer the Peregrine a bit more. I think it's just a little bit more comfortable and just feels a little bit. I like the turnover a bit more in that shoe. It just feels a little bit nippier. It's not the fastest shoe around, but it just feels like it is a little bit more versatile than what you get from this shoe. But there's not a lot in it. And I'd be happy with either of these shoes, but for me I'd go for the Peregrine over this shoe based on the testing that I've done. But this is a solid, great shoe, and there's a lot of really positive points about it, and I think everyone would be pretty happy with it as a sort of do-it-all trail shoe.
Verdict then, and I really like the Trabuco 13, I think maybe even more than the Trabuco Max 4, but then I do lean towards shoes that maybe sacrifice a bit of cushion for some precision and agility and a bit more directness, particularly on the trails. There is a happy balance, I think, to the Trabuco 13. It treads the line between just enough cushion, ground contact and control in what is a mid-weight trail shoe that has some agility if you want it, but covers you if you're plodding more heavy on slower trail outings. Now, I'm not the fastest runner on trails, but I think I could use this for faster miles, almost in a Hoka Speedgoat 6 way. Overall, it feels like a good, reliable, versatile trail shoe at a happily competitive price. If you're going to buy one trail shoe, this one could well fit the bill. Solid, durable, and does quite a lot for the money. So that's been our review of the ASICS Gel Trabuco 13. I hope it's been insightful. Give us a like if so. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we'd love it if you'd do us the honour. If you're in the market for a good trail shoe, I'm going to pop a video up on the channel now that you should go and watch. Otherwise, as ever, thanks for stopping by, and until next time, happy running, people.